Yeah, 1, 2. Princes kneel before you. That's what I said now. Princes who adore you. Just go ahead now. Marry him or marry me. I'm the one that loves you, baby. Can't you see? I ain't got no future or family tree, but I know what a prince and lover ought to be. I know what a prince and lover ought to be. Said if you want to call me baby, just go ahead now. And if you like to tell me maybe, just go ahead now. And if you want to buy me flowers, just go ahead now. And if you would like to talk for hours, just go ahead now. Whoa, whoa, now, baby, just go ahead now. Whoa, whoa, baby, just go ahead now. All right. That's enough of that. Good morning, fellow billionaires. This is Silver 5150 with your enhanced morning update for Friday, July 24th, 2020. Spin doctors with two princes on a Friday. You know, spin doctors, there's a lot of spin doctors out there. A lot of spin doctors out there. There could be politicians, they could be news anchors, they could be your boss. Sometimes your boss will be like, yeah, the reason why you didn't get that bonus this year is because your output was, kind of substandard and blah, 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 blah. The fact is, he just didn't want to pay you. He doesn't want to pay you. Cheapskate, doesn't want to pay you, give you what you're worth, all right? But the media, especially the financial media, the stock guys, even some of the crypto guys will be like, yeah, silver's probably the worst investment ever. You never get your money back. You just sell here at the top at $22. Yeah, whatever. Ain't listening to none of those clowns. They were never into precious metals. They're not into precious metals now. They're trying to act like they're on board because the excitement's here. I ain't buying it. All right? However, what we will do is continue to stack. Like these 150 Cyrillic All-Stars. Cyrillic All-Stars, people. Flying in and out of here. So what do we have here today? First up, the check line. And mind you, there's 50 of each here. All right? There is 50 of each. You got 4 rows by 4 rows of 3. And then you've got the extra 2 on the top there. And if you guys watch my earlier videos, you know good and well that I have these coins. I am not fronting. I am stacking, and I am stacking big because we only get one shot at this. And so I am taking it, and I have this to show you and have a little fun today here on Friday. All right, so first up is a check line. Now, people, before you start asking me about lizard people, I don't know anything about lizard people. My background is in trades and labor, not anthropology or anthropological studies, okay? Historical especially. I don't know anything about lizard people. Don't ask me. All right, check line. Beautiful coin. These are 2019s, all right? I didn't like the 2020s with the lines strutting around. These are better, I think, but I purchased these at APMEX for $28 back when spot was in the 14s, and people thought I was absolutely crazy. Now, if you can get them, they're retailing for over $40. All right, check lines. Next up is the 2014 Archangel Michaels. I keep saying Saint Michaels in my old videos, but these are Archangel Michaels, okay? These are 2013 BU. They're not proof. And they come from, of course, the Ukrainian bank. I like Ukrainian bank. I know I didn't say it right, but anyway. So it took time for me to warm up to these, as I told you, because I think they were 925 purity. Can we get in there and see that? AG 9. No, it is 3 9s. I think, if I can see. Anyway, all right. What's it over there? I don't know. Okay. Anyway, not important. What's important is good luck trying to get these. If you do, they come at a heavy premium. I think APMEX has them right now for like $32 if you want to grab some. And then finally over here we have, of course, you guys are very familiar throughout the week. We've been talking about the St. George the Victorious silver coins out of the Russian Federation Bank. I'm sorry. That is like my favorite seal for a bank on earth. I love that. And I can't wait to go over there. And that's the whole point of these international offerings, guys. These international offerings are a way for me to try to access things that I might not otherwise be able to access when I go over to other countries to visit my friends, to visit other stackers and stuff when I start traveling. Silver 5150 on location if you watch my earlier videos. And I don't know if this is going to matter or not if I have the country's bullion in question. But I would like to think as we get into an era where paper assets burn to the ground and countries realize they made a huge mistake by selling off their bullion, selling off their silver, that they're going to want it back into their banks so they can nationalize it for their people. And so if you have it and you're over there and you want to get things that they have, maybe they will be like, hey, we're trying to get some of our coins back. Don't know why we sold them, but now we will let you have something special for them. And you'd be like, okay. So you'll have that access. This is a speculation of mine, just like everything else. I'm Silver 5150. You guys know I am certifiably nuts, but I'm certifiably nuts in a irrationally exuberant way, right? Positivity, pie in the sky, unlimited. That is me. But that pie in the sky only comes with the right amount of coinage. 10 ounces to your name is very true. 10 ounces to your name is going to make a hell of a difference when we get into hyperinflation and nobody else has anything. We talked about the dollar going to zero, and that means the price of precious metals will go to infinity, and they will. But that infinity is going to manifest itself a different way. So let's go ahead and get on subject here. The term Cyrillic comes from, I guess, that region of the world. We're talking about Czech Republic and Ukraine, and then, of course, Russia over here. But I had Silver Game of Thrones. He helped me out with that. Silver Game of Thrones, thank you for that, for giving me that proper term for the, the sun's coming in, for the region of the world, all right? And guys, look, by the way, Silver Game of Thrones, he's doing a series right now called Silver Price, bye-bye. So he's doing all these different videos. Silver Price, 18 Silver Price, bye-bye, 20 Silver Price. He's been calling it since $18 spot, and he has nailed it every single time. He's done like 4 or 5 videos. Since like yesterday, he did like $26 silver, bye-bye. And I think it was 26 or 27, I can't remember, but he's absolutely right. He's nailed it every single time. So if you haven't seen those videos, just the way he, brings it out, it's some hard truth, but it's so much fun. It's funny as heck to hear him do it, because he's going back and he's like, I told you. And he even told me about a couple of things. I was like, girl, I'm going to get on that. I didn't, and I lost out. Okay, my fault. Okay, so we're going to continue our segment. Actually, we're going to close out our segment today on wealth cycles, all right? Thank you guys for joining me here on the Silver 5150 channel. We're going to close out wealth cycles and move into a new week of economic excitement, okay? And speaking of economic, wealth cycles are simply a series of boom and bust cycles. They're economic windows that present themselves during boom and bust cycles over the long term. Okay, and we've had energy wealth cycles, we've had real estate wealth cycles, we've had tech wealth cycles. You guys remember the .com boom and the tech boom in the Nasdaq in 2000, right at the turn of the millennium, and of course that went bust at some point. But anyway. You've had all these different booms and busts, but it's never really been, there's been spikes in precious metals over the years, but I'm not sure there's actually been a precious metals wealth cycle. We could be in it right now, but I haven't seen one, like specific booms and busts. I guess either I haven't been around long enough or I just don't know what I'm looking at. You can argue that the Louisiana Purchase is probably the best example of 2 cycles converging. Meaning like there's huge land up for grabs and then silver is the money, okay? You guys see my videos in the Louisiana Purchase where land was sold at a rate of 35 acres for silver dollar, right? And remember, a silver dollar wasn't even an ounce back then. So $35 35 acres for silver dollar, that was like 0.734 grains of silver. It wasn't even like a full ounce of silver. Now, if the U.S. had used American Silver Eagles to do the Louisiana Purchase, to purchase the 828,000 square miles from Napoleon at that time, it would have worked out to something like 41 acres of land per full ounce of silver. 41 acres for one Silver Eagle, right? I'm telling you. Now, that's what I'm saying. Just 10 ounces to your name, okay? 10 ounces to your name, guys. I'm serious. What a deal. 41 acres for an ounce of silver back then, the way it worked out. All right, and but a much more down-to-earth account is, of course, Fred Garr's fictional account we did on Fred Garr, where he used 40 ounces of silver to buy a really nice Cadillac. Okay, so that's not even close to what the Louisiana Purchase was, which was reality. And in Fred Garr's case, the Fred Garr story back then, it was, fictional, of course, but it was like 40 ounces of silver, 4 10-ounce bars for a brand new Cadillac that was, earlier on rated in normal dollars at $80,000. So we did evaluations on that. And then finally, there was the final fictional account, okay, where you had little old me, yours truly, who got stuck with the bill for the Silver Stackers World Party Tour in the year 2023. That's an old video on my channel. If you want to check it out, you can. It's just a little idea about how things are going to go when COVID finally goes away to dodo, which would be great. Okay. Anyway, that little stunt, paying for that entire shindig for us to run around the world and celebrate the fact that COVID was gone, would cost me 2,000 ounces and would teach me to keep my big mouth shut about treating my friends with free stuff. Just kidding. Just kidding. I love treating my friends with free stuff, as you guys know. We like to do giveaways here, and we're going to be doing much more giveaways down the road. And for me, the higher the spot price goes, the crazier the market gets. I'm not going to stop doing giveaways. I don't care, because I pay, quite a bit for coins anyway. And rounds, sometimes I overpay and people argue, but you can't argue about the volume. I've done some crazy, insane things you guys have noticed, but I have the volume to justify it. All right. So anyway, our focus is on the new precious metals wealth cycles. Okay. And we're going to be working as a team later on, ferreting out the stressed or even abandoned items or opportunities that require a little bit of TLS, tender loving silver. Yeah, that's right. Abandoned, projects and stuff is going to need tender loving silver or items that we want to get. Because look, it really doesn't matter what the currency denomination, silver and gold, is valued in, only that the perceived value is great. Okay, and whose perception are we concerned with when we're talking about perception and the value of gold and silver? Well, we're concerned with the seller's perception of it. Now, first of all, understand, unless there's a glut of essential goods, and by essential I mean food, water, fuels, basic clothing, and shelter, unless there's a glut of that stuff, the only things you'll be able to leverage your silver with, or silver for with great effect, is excesses. So the staples are going to be hard to get a hold of, at a great deal, but the excess things, that are going to, be available, you'll be able to get quite a bit. You'll be able to use your gold and silver with great effect. The fancier this and fancier that stuff. All right, the essential stuff will trade at a more fair valuation. It just will. And assuming that the seller prefers metal over whatever fiat currencies there are at the time. Because you go to the farmer's market and the guy's like, well, I still like dollars. And I'm like, well, you're nuts, but okay. And he doesn't want your Belcanby squares? Okay. That's all fine and good. And see, I got OCD already, and I said I wasn't going to do it. All right, so it could be during an era where there are no established fiat currencies. There just are no established fiat currencies. It could be like a blackout period where they're trying to figure out a currency and they're trying to figure out, maybe a crypto or something like that to use, nationwide or even globally. But if that's not available, then things are going to resemble more like that mother of all gray markets that I was talking about, a world where every transaction would take place a la a Craigslist / flea market or yard sale style shopping. All right, and that's everywhere. So in that scenario, you had better have your negotiation skills razor sharp, okay? But let's just say there are competing fiat currencies at that time with gold and silver, because gold and silver is going to be up there, and everybody's going to know what it is. The type that can mostly be tracked and traced are probably going to be what you're going to be looking at. And if you want to lessen your footprint and stay more private, you will have to use silver and gold. You'll have to find a way to use silver and gold, because even if they do have some crypto or some blue dollar or some Amero or, a strategic drawing right, you will try to use that as little as possible, and you want to stay more private using your silver and gold to buy stuff, all right? But the first thing you'll have to establish is who and where is open to that type of transaction. Who's warm to gold and silver, all right? And figuring out that kind of thing takes people. All right, you can do it as a person, but if you have a lot of people working as a unit, trying to locate and create a list where the sharp and shiny, no, not that was it. The sharp and shiny is available, all right, then you will always be welcome, and in some cases even desired. You got to find those places, okay? Now, does this sound familiar? Does it sound like maybe shopping for good deals on precious metals like we've been doing as a group, as a team? As a Facebook family, as subscribers, right? Helping each other out, putting out the deals and stuff, sometimes to our detriment. Because look, even if we don't as individuals have the cash to make a move on something, why let it get away if we can go ahead and grab it? So let somebody grab it, let somebody enjoy it. And see, that's the joy of, giving and being a blessing, if you can, is to go ahead and understand that there's such an abundance that you don't really have to hoard too much of anything. I mean, make sure you have enough for your families and stuff. But just keep track and notice that if you are living a life of blessing, that you will have the loaves and fishes effect happen upon your life. And that's where God will make a huge abundance out of very little of what you're given. Just to make sure that you understand that He is the Lord and He can do that. He can take chicken poop and make chicken soup out of it. That's a bad analogy. Anyway. So look here. This is why I mean staying connected, all right, to this community is so important. And it doesn't have to be, say, my channel. It could be Silver Joker's channel. It could be International Stacker. It could be Salivate Metal. It doesn't matter. We're all pretty much in the same group. Okay? Get another pan out on that. Sun's trying to come in, but that's nice. All right? But anyway, so, yeah. A single person working on a goal can be powerful, especially if that person is driven and highly confident trying to find deals and stuff. 1,000 or 10,000 people, capable, experienced people working on the same goal with an emphasis on urgency, well, they can accomplish a lot. And that's not some collectivist, that's not some collectivist kumbaya cult speak, meaning like, well, we're going to stick together, right? No. People make better groups when individuals are strong, independent, standalone complexes in and of themselves first, then contributes that strength to the group. Okay? So you are strong, independent, resourceful individual yourself, then you join a group and you really, really start to make a difference as a bunch of strong individuals in that strong group. Makes a stronger group. But anyway, I digress. Okay, as a community, we're focused on the best ways to capitalize on our hard-earned precious metals wealth. We always look for deals and stuff, right? And can find new ways, or if we work together to do this, to make the most of our wealth, all right, we work together looking for deals and stuff, all right? We can find new or dilapidated coastal properties, bankrupt shipping companies, or dare I say it, foreclosed mining operations. Now, these are big ticket items, okay? It's big ticket items for maybe, a group or something if you're looking to reinvest, yeah. But from hidden over stocks to crippled educational institutions to floundering hospitals, an injected of hyperinflated metal cash can make all the difference in either liquidating or assuming the establishments like those needing a little TLS, tender loving silver, remember? Now, another way of looking at it is using yesterday's liquidity model. All right, Exeter's inverse pyramid. Let me go ahead and grab that. You saw it peeking around in the background. Exeter's inverse pyramid. Sorry, I'm not going to do that to Archangel Michael. He'll show up with his sword and wipe me out. Anyway, so Exeter's pyramid, and that's where those are desperately trying to escape their frothy derivatives assets to credit in the fiat currency hells. All right, and when they're trying to escape, you can offer them some of your gold or silver, all right, as a bailout, only under the condition that the physical underlying assets of these businesses, like the buildings and filled with furniture and supplies and materials, are part of the bargain. Yeah, go ahead and take their derivatives, but make sure if you're going to trade with them for silver that you get something physical in the bargain, all right? Make sure those companies have durable goods you're interested in, and that they work for your plans if you're going to do something like that. These are for bigger stackers or groups of stackers that are going to do something in business. Now, think, that 10 ounces to your name, you think that's too piddly for something like what I'm talking about right now? Think that 10 ounces to your name doesn't really apply to this? Well, consider. Remember I told you, in the great oil crash of April 2020, you had oil companies that actually paid interested buyers to take excess oil off their hands unless those sellers were prepared to eat the losses. Now, big outfits like Chevron and Exxon and the Emirates, they had the ability to absorb that week of profit loss and stood pat in their positions. They didn't sell anything. Other smaller companies or shale startups had to dump everything, and in some cases paying at a discount, quote unquote, at only $20 a barrel loss instead of a $37 one, right? Just to make it out alive. Now, in one of my shows a few weeks ago, I outlined how if one had been looking out ahead of time, or if a group had been looking out for an event like this, for this oil crash, okay, and the sellers that were dumping their stuff were inclined to silver, that 10 ounces of silver, even at $12 an ounce spot, which it was at the time, would have been a considerable boon to someone drowning in an arguably toxic asset at that time. The oil was a toxic asset, that day, because people were trying to get out of it. Now, the same analogy goes for the below $0 oil, okay? $1.37 below zero. It goes for that below $0 oil as the dollar itself going to zero. If the value of the dollar goes to zero, then the price of precious metals is infinity. If the dollar of anything, goes to zero, then the price of silver, if it's accepted as money, is infinity. A silver eagle has a $1 denomination on it, right? So you can say it's your dollar. Well, these are the dollars I'm using. I'm like, oh, okay. And so do some of the other sovereign foreign coins have like dollar or $5 or $2 denominations on them. So if the price per barrel of oil is zero in the case of the oil crash, or the unit of anything is zero, and your silver ounce is $8, or the value of the dollar, is on a different sovereign coin, then that value of the dollar, your silver dollar, is infinity. Meaning you should be able to get some really good deals on things and stuff that have been destroyed by diluting poisons of derivatives. And that's what derivatives do. They just dilute the heck out of a physical item, and it makes it almost worthless when that system unravels. Now, that's the thing. It's like, so nobody knows what's going to be real at that time. When there's this kind of mayhem out there, when derivatives are crashing down, when all this stuff is melting down and trying to work its way into the most solid, most durable assets, nobody's going to know, what the heck the value is of anything. There are going to be goods and services scattered all over the place. Okay? Silver's last known price will be something like $800 an ounce. Last known price, meaning that the COMEX would have closed by then. And gold's last known price will probably be around 16,000, spot. But you simply can't get any of the unaffordium or the unobtainium, because they're just not out there in the public and readily available. If there was some to stack, it's already been stacked. It's gone. Okay? Yes, and I got the unaffordium and the unobtainium from Mike Maloney. I don't want to be part of any copyright infringement. But yeah, and so, that's basically it. You declare that your dollars are these silver dollars. This is your money. Currencies have burnt to the ground. Nobody really cares for them. They're, I'm not saying it's going to be Zimbabwe where kids are running around with wheelbarrows of them. But nobody's going to want to touch those. I mean, if they do, they're not going to want to give you anything physical for them. And so you're like, well, I got physical money here, real, hard money. And these are my dollars. And so I will give you, $1 for that, or $1 or $2 for this. And that's where your 10 ounces really make a difference. But you have to be able to judge the top of the market. All right. And that's what it's going to take the group to do. You can't do that as an individual. No individual is caught top of the market. Maybe some people have gotten lucky, but for the most part, it takes a group of people to be watching like crazy. Okay. So shareholders that have stocks, they're desperate to transform their stocks, their shares, or whatever physical assets that they may or may not have tied to those stocks. Whatever they have, of physical value, or even like the, silly stocks that have some physical attributes to them. These people will be desperate to make good on finding a way to turn those units, turn those things, those stocks and those physical assets into units of exchange. We're talking about, Philip Morris, people from Philip Morris that work in the office and stuff. They're selling off the buildings. They're selling off some of their manufactured products and stuff like that. Well, whoever's in charge of those items, whoever's the custodian of those logistics, you'll be like, you know what? Nobody's buying this stuff anymore. We have all these things here. People need them, but we have no way to get them out because trucking's down, what have you. We need to find a way, let's do like a warehouse sale. And so when you show up with your money and you maybe you can, get something with your silver, dollars and stuff. But these big institutions, they're going to be looking to dump their stuff to get liquidity. They want units of exchange so they can provide all the basic needs for their families, because they're not going to be getting a paycheck or anything. These companies are going to be going bust and bankrupt, and they're going to be, flat on their butts, right? Because look, the chances are, some of them at least, these big people, these big names, these logistical managers or whoever's, in charge of these goods and services, didn't prepare in any meaningful way during this time. Now, there are plenty that have, all right? Like the CEO for Overstock.com. I don't know if you guys know this, but his employees' pensions are in the form of 1/10 gold eagles. He buys 1/10 gold eagles for his employees' 401k. It's pretty cool, huh? All right, move right along. Okay, so all these things I was talking about would be in play, all right, as desperation and the clamor for the ability to liquefy said monetary assets reaches a crescendo. It's going to reach a crescendo at some point. All right. And here we come. All of us, stackers, flush with unobtainium and unaffordium to help them out. So it really depends on what your needs are. You need a tutor for your kids? There's a postgraduate couple that are educators that would like to earn Buffalo dimes or Valcamby squares. Heck, they'll even split a session for a gold tenther for a week's worth of intensive academic drills after all. They were told that would be enough to cover their homeowners' taxes for about a year. A tenth of an ounce of gold. All right. So need medical attention, by the way. At this time, when the markets are broken and hospitals are closed, there'll be a bevy of experienced doctors and nurses that are suddenly looking to make house calls again. Do you guys remember house calls? I know a lot of young people don't know that. To your younger stackers, to your younger listeners right now, did you know doctors and nurses used to actually come to your home and diagnose you and treat you and give you prescriptions and stuff. And you just stay right there in your home. And then they take their bag and they walk out and you get a bill. All right. Well, you try doing that now and your insurance won't even cover it. It's like really expensive unless you have home health care. Anyway, so that's right. After a series of hospitals either close or default from, battling COVID and the economy, the glamorous eggheads that took to making house calls to your place, they're going to do that, for their means. They're going to want to, build their wealth like that. They're going to see that stacking silver gold is the way to go, and they're going to use their skills to acquire it at that time. You'll already have it, so you'll have the money. They'll be looking to get it. So, like to sleep comfortably at night? Silver Century Security offers a variety of personal and area service packages and only accepts precious metals for said services. Sorry, I had to plug that in there. Just trying to have a little fun. You guys know I'm crazy and I have a lot of fictional businesses and accounts and stories and all that stuff. This is Friday. We're going to loosen up a little bit. All right, now, of course, I went full silver 5150 on these speculative exposés, all right? But even on a more normal basic level, such as neighborhood bartering, now this is something that's a little more down-to-earth people, like farmers markets, which, by the way, farmers markets are going to greatly expand to accommodate full-spectrum retail needs. I mean, they're going to explode in size, clothes and shoes and, everything. There'll probably even be some cars there. The farmers market's not going to be what it used to be. It's going to be huge. All right. Or if you want to engage in entertainment at that time, I'm sure theaters will be open by then. There'll probably be a couple casinos or gambling halls open. Electronic RPG tournaments will be a big thing where people are playing games and kicking each other's butts, but they have huge spectators watching and stuff or playing. And then, of course, the new precious metals wealth cycle we're talking about will give unlimited access to all those things and those that have possession of the precious metals. You'll be able to help whoever you want to help, go where you want to go, do what you want to do, and with financial freedom. This is going to be real financial freedom, people. Seriously. But even beyond that, the most fascinating thing about wealth cycles is their ability to connect endless new wealth cycles beyond that. Did you know that? This is the beginning. Basically, what we're doing right here is we're getting so far out in front of the series of wealth cycles out there, that we will be in receipt of that new energy when it comes in. Once you have been exposed to a wealth cycle, timed properly, you have to try really hard to avoid the next one's upcoming. And you can just roll over from one to the other to the other. All right? So, as long as you're researching ahead into what's next, the stacker in you will automatically reinvest early and have that next asset class ready to flow to you rather than you chasing after it. Remember talking about having wealth come to you because you have the asset in which it flows to instead of you chasing after wealth, working 2 and 3 jobs like I'm doing right now because I want to stack some more for the big dip overnight. I think is going to happen in October. I don't want to do that forever. I want the wealth to come flowing into me and me to be able to use it to enrich my life, enrich other people's lives, and have the freedom to do and go wherever I want. I want to go and have fun and visit and travel around and all that. But until then, I have to chase after wealth, all right, and accumulate wealth and then have it grow and in that way flow into me, all right? So, who knows? It could be some new cold fusion framostatic thingy that produces limited energy, talking about the next wealth cycle. It could be energy, for example, all right? And you would see the potential and pile into the new startup expat global's 1 gram stocks at the very beginning. And those 2 ounces you use to get their 1 gram shares gets you 62 shares, right? 62 shares, which would be a gram of silver, which will easily be worth about 200 ounces of silver each once expat and company gets those generators online. Talking about those cold fusion generators. More sci-fi for your brain there. Just being a cornball. All right. Well, look, guys, that was my point. My point is that we get into these wealth cycles and we break through into the first one and we stay in them from that point on. It doesn't end. We continue watching out for each other. Okay. We continue watching for opportunities. Whatever's going to be next. It could be Q-tips, be the next wealth cycle. Who knows? But you just got to be ready with the money to grab it. All right. That is going to do it for today, guys. Thanks for joining me for a stellar week. A ton of excitement and only the first 5% move in our new precious metals bull run. All right, believe me, there's more. MOAR, more to come as we intersect our super money with this coming economic fallout. I'm Silver5150 telling you that your stack is not whack and that just 10 ounces to your name keeps you 99% ahead of the game. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment. And I will see you in those comments this weekend. Take care, billionaires.